For some people, faith is the first thing they turn to when they hear the word cancer. And if faith makes you feel safer and less alone, I am all for it. Anything that makes the cancer journey easier to deal with is a good thing. But for those who've walked away from religion already, the question of what comes next resurfaces as unfinished business, because mortality has a way of reopening questions you thought you'd settled. I am not going to try and convince you of anything today. This is just my experience and where I am right now on my own cancer journey. I was raised Christian. Church activities 3 times a week, youth group, home group, church on Sunday. I didn't treat it casually. I wasn't just going through the motions. I meant it. I even went to Israel to celebrate Sukkot and was baptized in the Jordan River when I was 16. My mother at times leaned towards the fanatical, but my dad was an atheist, silently hostile. It was one of 2 things they fought about their entire marriage: God and golf. About halfway through varsity, something changed for me. I realized I was talking to God who never talked back. I was praying into silence and then filling in the answers based on my own gut feeling. I am wired towards science, towards evidence, towards explanations that hold up whether or not you are emotionally invested in them. And the question that finally derailed everything was simple. How can I believe in something no one can prove exists? Now, Christians would say that's why it's called faith. That's the whole point. But that answer just never made sense to me. I didn't become a raging, militant atheist. Not most of the time, anyway. I didn't hide my thoughts on the matter, and yeah, I was a bit pissed that I had poured so much time and energy into something I no longer considered to be real. But mostly I just didn't believe anymore. And for a very long time, that whole issue felt settled. And then I got cancer. When I was first diagnosed, when I didn't know how advanced it was, I genuinely thought I might have 2 weeks to live. It was an oddly calm feeling, like a sort of silent mist settled over me. Not a pretty mist, a scary mist. Calm and fear at the same time. Suddenly I was asking myself, what if I'm wrong? What if there is something after this? What if hell is real? My father-in-law used to say there are no atheists in foxholes. At the time it seemed true enough, but when I was thinking I was about to die, that statement took on a whole new meaning for me. Because the cost of being wrong suddenly feels enormous. And this is where upbringing matters. I blame my mom, at least in part, for the fear that resurfaced. She emphasized the hell part of religion: fear God, fear judgment, fear eternal damnation. The idea that if you didn't believe a certain version of religion, always hers, or doubted too much, questioned authority, you would not be granted entry into heaven. But here's the part I cannot wrap my head around. Imagine if a human parent said to their child, if you don't obey me, without question, I'm going to throw you into a pit of fire and watch you suffer for all eternity. We'd call that parent a monster. We'd say that love does not look like that. We'd probably take the kid away. So why does that logic suddenly become sacrosanct when the threat comes from God? If God loves us so much, why would fear be an entry requirement? Why would curiosity or skepticism, honest doubt, be punished? No matter how rational I try to be, I cannot fully erase that programming. And sometimes the fear is overwhelming, and that makes me angry. I am not unique. For atheists and agnostics, cancer doesn't magically create belief, but it does strip away the luxury of ignoring the question. You can dismiss metaphysics when death feels abstract. You can't when it's suddenly personal. So I ended up here, not believing, not disbelieving, not at peace, not at war, just undecided, and sometimes filled with fear. It adds another layer of emotional distress at a time when you are already struggling to keep your head above water. So tell me, do you feel the same way? Is faith easy for you? Does fear of dying keep you up at night? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week.